Hello, everybody. Welcome to Yoga for Self-Love with Kim. I am Kim. This will be a short, gentle practice to open up through the front body, open up through the heart space, bring in some back bends, and also bring our focus to gratitude as we move through the practice. So gratitude for anything at all, anything big or small, cup of coffee you had this morning, maybe your dog, your cat, your family, your intellect, your compassion, anything at all that you are feeling grateful for. Bring it to mind and continue to bring it to mind throughout the practice today. So bring yourself into a comfortable seat. You may want a block or 2 blocks for the practice today. And you are welcome to sit up on a block if you like. So any comfortable seat will do. Sitting up nice and tall, finding some length and some spaciousness and some buoyancy up through the spine. Crown of the head reaching up as you root down through your sitting bones and your pubic bone. If it feels okay for you, you can close your eyes or just find a soft and steady gaze. Take a moment to land, to arrive, to call back all of your energy from wherever you have been dispersing it to in the world, people, places, things, activities. Draw it back in. Take this sacred time just for you, for yourself, body, mind, breath, and spirit. Take a moment to notice how you're feeling today. No judgment, just being curious. As always, I invite you to bring in the intention to be gentle, kind, patient, loving, and compassionate with yourself as you move through the practice. And begin to check in with your breath, just noticing how your breath feels today. And if it's possible, allow the breath to deepen, become nice and smooth and steady. As you inhale, draw the breath in through the nose, fill up the whole body with your breath. Feel the expansion. As you exhale, release the breath back up and out through the nose or the mouth. Feel everything relax back in towards center. And take a few nice, deep, smooth, and steady breaths here. And then begin to draw yourself back to the moment. Flutter the eyes open. We'll begin to slowly start moving our way through the body. Take a deep breath in. As you do, reach the arms out to the sides and up. And then as you exhale, release the arms back down and out to the sides. A few more times like this. Inhaling, reaching arms out and up. Exhaling as you release the arms back down to the sides. Couple more. And then release the arms down. Now we'll lift up the arms, bend the elbows, reach the fingers up. So you bring your arms into this cactus position or goal post position. Elbows back. Back of the skull pulling back, heart lifted, fingers reaching up. Then we'll take a deep breath in, and as you do, you're going to lift the heart up just a little bit, maybe shift the gaze up a little bit. And as you exhale, we'll curl everything in, bring the arms together. So forearms, hands will come together in front of you. Drop your chin down to your chest. Feel the upper back begin to round. Then as you inhale, again, lift up the arms, lift up the heart. Maybe you lift the gaze up a little bit. And with the exhale, again, arms come back together. You curl yourself back in, chin to the chest. A few more times, opening and closing the arms. And then release the arms down. Interlace fingers behind the back, elbows bent. Press the knuckles into the low back. You can stay here with a generous bend in the elbows, or maybe begin to bring the arms a little bit straighter and pull the hands off of the back. So keeping a little bend in the elbows so you're not locking out through the arms, but keeping that softness there. And then release the hands and just give your body a few gentle rocks from side to side. And then we'll roll the body around in a few circles. And you can make these circles as big or small as you like. And find your pace here, so you can keep it nice and slow or begin to pick up the pace if that feels better. And then we'll switch the direction of the circles. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's find your way over onto hands and knees. Coming into a tabletop position. Wrists lined up under the shoulders, knees lined up under the hips. Let's roll it through some cat-cow. Inhale as you lift your tail. Let the belly soften. Draw the heart forward and lift your gaze. And as you exhale, root into your finger pads. Hug in through the arms. Round the back up towards the ceiling. Look towards your navel. And then a few more. Roll it through following your breath. Inhaling, finding your cow pose. Belly softens, tail lifts. And as you exhale, round the back up towards the ceiling, finding that cat position. And bring yourself back into table, neutral spine position. Grab your blocks, have them handy. And let's take one block, tuck it right in between your thighs. So squeeze that block in between the inner thighs. You could have tops of your feet pressing down into the mat here, or you could curl the toes under. And then we'll take the hands around to the low back. Root down through the knees, the feet, the shins. Lengthen up through the crown of the head, spine nice and long, finding that spaciousness in between the vertebrae. And then draw the elbows in towards each other. You could have the fingers pointing down or the fingers pointing up or even out to the side. So find what works best for you. Elbows draw in towards each other. Hug that block in between the legs. Draw the belly in and up. Side body nice and long, crown of the head reaching up, and then gently begin to open through the heart, lift the heart up a little bit. Maybe you begin to shift the gaze upward, and then squeeze that block in between the thighs. Hug the belly in and up and bring yourself back up to your starting point, standing on the knees. Again, we'll squeeze the block, hug the elbows in towards each other, lift the heart, radiate the pelvis forward, and maybe you drop the head back a little bit. If it feels better for the neck, you can keep your gaze forward. Squeeze in through that block, hug in through the belly, bring yourself back up to stand on the knees. Let's do it one more time. Elbows hug in, squeezing that block, belly drawing in and up. Tailbone reaching down, heart lifts. Maybe you shift the gaze up. And then squeeze the block, bring yourself back up to center. And then pluck that block out from in between your thighs. Bring it back into your table. Let's extend the right leg back behind you. Now bend that right knee. Draw it underneath your body, towards your nose, chest, or forehead. Press down through the hands. And then grab or carry that right foot up to the top of the mat. Right knee tracking over the ankle. Press down into that right foot, into that back knee, foot, shin. Hug in through the inner legs. Begin to peel yourself up and take your hands to that front thigh. Press down into that front thigh. Lengthen up through the crown of the head. Spine nice and long. Imagine that you're drawing that right heel back, hugging that left knee forward. And then we'll bring the arms up, cactus the arms, draw in and up through the belly, lift up through the heart. And then we'll take it, arms together, back into that curl that we did when we were seated, shin to the chest. And then again, press into the feet, lift yourself up, heart reaching forward and up, maybe gaze shifting up. Keep pressing down through the feet and hugging in through the inner legs. And then we'll curl it back in, arms come back together, chin back to the chest. Let's do it one more time. Lift the arms, and then arms come back together, curl in. Reach both arms up now, low lunge. We'll take the hands back down to the mat, step yourself back into table. And let's do that same thing on the other side. Extend that left leg back now. Bend that left knee. Draw it underneath your body, round up through your back. Step left foot through. Press down into that left foot, into that right knee, foot, shin. Hug in through the inner legs. Lift yourself up, hands to that front thigh. Side body nice and long, spine nice and tall. Hug that left foot back energetically so you're not moving anything, just turning it on. Draw that right knee up towards the top of the mat, again energetically. And then we'll lift the arms up, cactus the arms. Draw the belly in and up, lift up through the heart space. And then arms come together. Round yourself in, chin to the chest, curling through the upper back. Couple more times, press into the feet. Lift in and up through that belly, heart lifts, arms move back out into your cactus arms, and then you curl it back in, arms come together. One more time, open the arms, curl it back in. Reach both arms up, finding our low lunge. Maybe you allow the pelvis to drop down just a little bit. Press into the feet, zip in through the belly, spine tall. Hands come back down to the mat. Step yourself into your table. Let's take it into a downward dog now. Spread the fingers wide, tuck the toes under, press into your hands and glide your hips up and back. Let's keep the knees bent here. Just getting started in our downward dog. Begin to pedal out the legs, or bend and straighten the knees, or find any movement that feels right for you. And then slowly walk yourself up to the top of your mat. And fold yourself into a forward fold. For a moment, lift your belly up off of your thighs. Fold from your hips, knees soft. You can have a bigger little bend in the knees and bring the belly back down to the thighs. Let your head go. Hands to the mat or grab elbows. Shake hips, rock hips, swing arms. Shake, nod the head. Bring yourself to center. And then take your hands, interlace them at your low back. So you're still in your forward fold here. Bigger little bend through the elbows. Either keep hands where they are at the low back, or maybe you begin to peel the arms up off of the back and reach the arms up overhead. And then hands come back down to the low back. Press into the feet. You can release the clasp of the hands. Lift yourself all the way up to stand. Take your two thumbs into your armpits. Lift the armpits up as you root down through the feet. Nice and tall. And let's take the hands around to the low back, just as we did in our camel modification just a few moments ago on the mat. Hands to low back, fingers pointing up or down, in or out, elbows drawing in, belly lifting in and up, little lift through the heart. And then bring yourself back up to center. Grab your block again. We'll tuck that block right in between the thighs. Again, take hands around to that low back. Elbows hug in. Squeeze that block. Lift up through the heart. Maybe shift the gaze up. Squeeze the block. Bring yourself back to your starting point, standing. And let's do it one more time. Squeeze that block, draw the elbows in towards each other, draw your belly in and up as the tailbone reaches down, heart begins to lift. Maybe you shift your gaze up or keep the gaze forward. And then squeeze the block, bring yourself back up. Remove that block from between the thighs now. Let's sit back in chair pose. Bum back, knees back. Look down in front of the knees. You want to be able to see your toes. Lift up all your toes for a moment. Spread the toes and then relax the toes back down. Now we'll cactus the arms again and then we'll curl it in. Open the arms into your cactus position. Heart lifts. Curl it in, arms come back together, still in our chair pose. One more time. Open arms wide, cactus position. Arms together, curl yourself in. Press into your feet, come all the way up. Let's take palms together overhead and bring your hands back down to your heart. Now we'll step the right foot back and come into a warrior one. So right heel back, bend that front knee. Front knee tracking over the ankle. Make sure your back knee feels great. Rib cage facing up towards top of the mat. If you need to open that right hip a little bit to accommodate the back knee, please do that. Or shorten up your stance. Bring that back foot forward just a little bit. Let's reach the arms up. Warrior one. Few deep, steady, smooth breaths here. And then release the arms down. Step the right foot up towards top of your mat. We'll switch it over to the other side. Left foot steps back. Heel angling towards the back of the mat. We'll bend the right knee, knee tracking over the ankle. Rib cage facing up towards top of the mat. Press down through the feet. Reach the arms up. And then we'll cactus the arms. Arms come down to the sides. Curl yourself in. Open the arms up. Curl it in. Open it up. Reach the arms up. And then we'll step it forward back into our Tadasana. Now send that right foot back again, coming back into our warrior one. Left knee bends. Interlace your fingers at the low back. Big bend in the elbows or a little bend. Could bring the arms a little bit straighter, pull arms off the back. Press down into the feet. Rib cage facing forward. Crown of the head reaching up. And now we'll begin to fold it forward, either keeping hands at low back or reaching the hands up overhead. And then press into that front foot. Lift yourself back up into your warrior one. Sink a little deeper into that front knee. Again, let's fold it forward. Torso comes forward towards that front leg or maybe inside of it. Hands can stay up on the low back or reach up over the head. And then lift yourself back up. Back into your warrior one. Let's do it one more time. Fold it in. Hands stay at the low back or reach up overhead. And then back up you come. Release the hand clasp and reach your arms up. And then release the arms down and step yourself up. Top of the mat. Let's do that on the other side. Step the left foot back. Warrior one, bend that right knee. hips facing forward-ish, rib cage facing forward, arms reaching up. And then let's interlace fingers at the low back, bigger little bend in the elbows. Begin to fold it forward. Hands staying at the low back or peeling up overhead. Right sitting bone rolling underneath you. Press into the feet, lift yourself back up. Sink a little deeper into that right knee. Let's do it again, fold it forward. Arms up overhead or staying at the low back. Press into the feet, lift yourself back up, sink into that front knee. And let's do it one more time. Folding it in. Arms peel up overhead. Press into the feet, lift up. Back into your warrior one. Release the hand clasp, arms reach up. And then hands come back down. Step yourself up, top of your mat. Now let's take the arms out to the sides and up, palms together overhead. Soften your knees, fold yourself in, and then plant your hands down on the mat and step yourself back into downward dog. And find what you like here, movement or stillness. A few deep breaths here. And then release your knees down to the mat. Find your way down onto your belly. And take your arms alongside the body, palms facing up, backs of the hands pressing down into the mat. Root down through the tops of the feet, down through the pubic bone. Begin to lift the heart up. Lower yourself back down. And now we'll keep the forehead rooting down towards the mat. Hands down towards the mat. Begin to lift the legs only, feet and legs. Lift it up. And then release it back down. So reach the arms forward now. And then we'll take ourselves into a full locust pose. As you take a deep breath in, begin to lift up the arms, lift up the legs, root down through the pubic bone. And then release yourself down. Just take a little pause. Make a little pillow with the hands. And rest the forehead on the hands or turn to one cheek. And then bring yourself to center. Now let's interlace the hands at the low back. Press down into the feet. Keep the feet rooting down. We'll lift the heart up. We'll lift the hands up off of the back. And then release yourself down. Turn and rest on the other cheek. Bring yourself back to center. And again, let's clasp hands at the low back. Then we'll lift everything up this time. Deep breath in, lift the legs, lift the heart, lift the arms up off of the back. And then release everything back down. Take hands underneath the shoulders. Press yourself back into child's pose. Either take the knees wide or the knees together. Big toes coming towards each other behind you. Settle your bum back to your heels. Rest the forehead down to the mat or make a pillow with the hands. Or you could also tuck a block underneath your forehead. If you like, give yourself a little wiggle here from side to side. And then bring yourself to center. Walk yourself up to come and sit on your heels. And now grab your 2 yoga blocks. We'll come back to stand up on the knees, finding our way into camel pose. So you can take the blocks alongside the legs or the hips. Come to stand up on the knees, feet, shins. Again, if you like, you could curl the toes under. Imagine that you still have the block in between the thighs. Hug in through the inner legs, hugging that imaginary block. Tailbone reaching down towards the mat, belly drawing in and up. Sides of the body nice and long, nice and spacious. Spine nice and tall. Space in between the vertebrae. Let's take hands around to that low back, elbows hug in. Begin to radiate the pelvis forward, lift the heart up. Now you stay just like this with hands where they are, or you could release the hands down to the blocks. If it is available to you, you could also forego the blocks and bring your hands down to rest on your heels. Hips forward, pelvis forward, heart open, gaze either forward or slightly upward. And hug in through the legs. Walk the hands back to the low back if they're not still there. Lift yourself back up to standing up on the knees, and then lower yourself down to sit on the heels. And then we'll do it one more time. Let's come back up to stand on the knees. Toes curled under or tops of the feet pressing down. Bring the hands around to that low back. Hug in through the elbows. Draw the inner legs together. Lift up through your belly. Hips forward. Heart open. Hands to your blocks or maybe to your heels. And then we'll bring hands back to the low back. Hug in through the legs. Bring yourself all the way back up and release yourself down. Give your shoulders a few little shrugs here. Find your way back into a comfortable seat. And let's take a deep breath in, sweep arms out to the sides and up as we did in the beginning of the practice. And with the exhale, arms come back down. Inhale again, arms sweeping out and up. Exhale, release. One more time. Let's take palms together at the heart. Rub your hands together, finding some warmth in between the hands, some heat. And then place one hand on top of the other on the heart space. Close the eyes. Feel the heat from your hands, your own healing, loving energy, sending love back to you. And come back to our intention to be gentle, kind, patient, loving, and compassionate with ourselves, and also to our gratitude focus. Bring your mind back to that which you are grateful for today. Turn the corners of your lips up into a smile. Flutter the eyes open, cross the arms over the chest, and give yourself a squeeze. A little hug. Open the arms wide and then cross the arms over the chest. Other arm on top. Give yourself another little squeeze. A little shimmy, little shake. And then release, palms together at the heart. Thank you so much for sharing this short, gentle, gratitude-focused, heart-opening practice with me today. Hope it helped with love and gratitude. Namaste.